Well, you can hear lusty voices there from Archie MacPherson. Very warm welcome to our coverage of the Cup Winners' Cup game between Shelbourne of Ireland and Kilmarnock of Scotland. Meeting in the Cup Winners' Cup game, and as befits a nation which does love informality, the Irish Prime Minister Bertie Ahern will simply stroll out of his house tonight with his pals and come down to the stadium to see Shelbourne and Kilmarnock, and to see if the Dublin side can pull back that 2-1 lead which Kilmarnock enjoy at the moment. Although perhaps the word enjoy is slightly inappropriate, as Kilmarnock struggled to get that lead, which they achieved in the last few seconds of the first game. And the scorer of these goals, Paul Wright, is not fully fit, and he's on the bench tonight. So I think I could substitute the word trembling on the lead rather than enjoying it at the moment, with no disrespect to Kilmarnock. And would you believe that 69 years ago, when Kilmarnock made the first jaunt abroad, it was to here, to Shelbourne, that they came to play their first foreign match. So here we are. You could hardly call them old buddies. It was a pretty competitive game, the first one. Slight breeze, which has lessened, and I think this is going to turn out to be an exciting game, given the attitude of both managers. All right, I don't suspect that any of these teams, either of these teams, will figure in the final. We're having here the introduction to the teams. The Lord Mayor of Dublin, Alderman John Stafford, accompanied by Findlay Flood, the chairman of Shelbourne, and the Kilmarnock chairman, Ronnie Hamilton, who has an historic connection not only with Kilmarnock but with European football, because he scored the first ever European goal for his club way back when they played in that very famous game against Eintracht Frankfurt back in '64. And there's the Kilmarnock supporter. Kilmarnock traditionally in blue and white, and the red of Shelbourne. As I said about Ronnie Hamilton, he scored a goal against Eintracht. A remarkable game that. They were 3-0 down from the first leg, and then they were a goal down in the first couple of minutes of that match. So that made it 4, and he went on to win by 5 goals to 1 in the night and knocked Eintracht out. And the man who made his debut as a 16-year-old lad in that game was a manager who, a man who's now manager of Dundee United, and who, with Motherwell, won the Scottish Cup and went into the Cup Winners' Cup, and that's Tommy McLean. So there's a lineage here which stretches way back. Times have changed, of course. Kilmarnock are now playing in an utterly renovated stadium, a beautiful stadium, surely one of the best of the provincial clubs anywhere in the UK. And of course they've had the money problems. They cannot go out as Rangers and Celtic can in Scotland and buy anybody the like of Shelbourne. They come from a nation now whose football in general has been rejuvenated, and you can mention one man for that, and of course I mean Jackie Charlton. The success of the national team has permeated right through to grassroots. The Republic of Ireland has been famous, of course, for the, I think I'm right in saying, the conflict at times between their national traditional games, Gaelic football and hurling. But I think a lot of fans have been wooed over to association football. There's the Shelbourne side, which is exactly the same as started a game against Kilmarnock in the first leg, and they played very well indeed. Kilmarnock had to pull back and get that winner very late on in the game, so it is very evenly balanced tonight. Good support come over from Kilmarnock. There's the side. A very colourful goalkeeper they have, Dragoš Lekovic from Montenegro. Played for Red Star Belgrade initially. Gus MacPherson had 5 years with Rangers before he came to Kilmarnock. And the long-standing favourite of the club, Ray Montgomery, 35 years of age, captain of the side, started his career with Newcastle, and indeed many of the players on both sides, curiously enough, have had experience of English League football. And perhaps the most famous of all the Kilmarnock players, of course, the man who's playing number 22 tonight, Pat Nevin. Sure many viewers in England will remember the scintillating performances of Pat Nevin, a traditional Scottish winger, you know, diminutive, tricky, fast. Played 28 times for Scotland, and apart from that was chairman of the Professional Footballers Association in England for several years. So Pat is a considerable talent both on and off the field. Well, last night we were in the stadium in Paris, the Parc des Princes, and we were seeing both sides there for over 24 hours of European football. Now, we're not getting ourselves on. I'm quite sure the level here will not reach that incredible level which you'll see after this game that we saw last night. But where the two games and where the four teams have something very much in common is commitment to win. And I think that is perhaps the most attractive element in football at any level. So, just to remind you again, this is Kilmarnock in the white and blue. Irish team Shelbourne, red and white. The ball touched forward there. Chased after by Ali Mitchell, whipped away. Well, Kilmarnock used to have a blue and white vertical stripe, but of course they've changed just to white and blue. Changed the sponsor, in fact. So the Irish attacking down that right-hand side. Shelbourne looking quite aggressive. And indeed, I think they impressed people in the first game by being extremely fit. The man who made the move there was, in fact, a Frenchman, number 2, Pascal Vaudequin, the man from Paris. Well, we had a goal in the first minute and a half last night in the Parc des Princes Stadium. Irish will be after a quick one back. Scored the goal. Goal scored by Mark Rutherford was scored from way out. Excellent goal they scored, so they can drive the ball in from afar. That's the free kick. Hooked high in there, and then it comes, whipped away though. Well, Kilmarnock have been hemorrhaging goals in the past week in Scottish football, conceding 10 in all in a Coca-Cola and league game, so not the ideal preparation for a European tie, but I think there'll be a different kind of resolve altogether. Knocked round there by MacPherson, going away on that far side. There's a run forward, and the goalkeeper rightly committing himself. That's the Kilmarnock support in there. Not a huge journey, of course, across the Irish Sea for them. Kilmarnock won the Scottish Cup and conceded only 2 goals in the process, and that was in 1 game. So the goalkeeper Dragos Lekovic had 5 shutouts, which is remarkable for a cup competition. Looked like the head from Pat Nevin. The referee letting the play go on. Billy Findlay, midfield player for Kilmarnock, number 5, trying to get there. Let me remind you, if you're just joining us, I know a lot of people are just coming in at this time, you're watching live Shelbourne against Kilmarnock. Cup Winners' Cup, with Kilmarnock leading by 2 goals to 1 from the first leg. Kilmarnock in the white shirts, blue shorts. Long high ball, which I doubt very much will bother this defence. Martin Baker putting it back. Player who just joined the club in the summer from the other Scottish club, Sid Mirren. Well, I certainly like the determined way that Jim McIntyre fought for that ball going forward. There he is, Jim McIntyre. As I said, they've had a lot of English experience, some of these players, and he started off with Bristol City and played for Exeter as well. So he went back to Scotland to play for Edrionians. Picked up by Campbell. Oh, that's a high tackle. Well, like a wheelbarrow race it turned out there as Mark Rutherford was chopped down. Mark Rutherford comes from Birmingham, by the way. Came on loan from Birmingham City 6 years ago. And like many people that come to Dublin, just decide to stay. Such a charming place. Well, that ball was partly wind-driven, and we will be having occasional showers. There's no question at all about that. Well, trying to put them off. Nice header there by Kevin McGowne. Kept his eye cleanly on the ball. Kevin McGowne, you watch him again, number 11 at the back. Big, tall player, local boy. One of the few local boys in this Ayrshire side. Headed away there by David Smith, playing in that right back position. On by the Frenchman, Paul Vareille. Oh, and I think you can tell right away this is going to be a fair old physical battle. Yeah, it's going to be tough going throughout. Just a little bit obvious again, and that's not going to pay off at all. Well, sadly for Kilmarnock, Paul Wright, on his form, is one of the best goal scorers in Scottish football. And a club with limited resources anywhere, not least Scotland or Ireland, can ill afford to lose one of their significant players. Well, it seems they're deciding on from one goal mouth to the other. Missing out midfield. Well, it's very sharp. That's again the Frenchman Pascal Vareille getting away with that. Lays it back again. And he's taking a central part in midfield, it seems. Coolly brought down there by Billy Findlay in midfield. Now Reilly. Nice little dummy there by Bagan on the outside and picked up by Baker. Look at the cluster of three players he's taken to the corner, and he wanted to touch it inside to the youngster, 20-year-old David Bagan. They'll be running forward. That was another little dummy again. Tried to play a 1-2 there. Pat Nevin drifting in from the right-hand side. Well, just over 8 minutes gone. And it is a bit hectic. Now, Nevin is certainly the kind of player that can come inside and introduce subtlety into their play. Shelbourne, a club which has done extremely well in recent years. They won the Irish Championship 8 times. So they have been in the European Cup as representatives. And out comes the goalkeeper, Alan Goff. Hearing out after that. 5 times an under-21 cap. Here's Rutherford going again and wanted the ball played back to him. Cluster of Irish players, and I think offside. Reilly. I think realistically, obviously both clubs would like a long run in this competition, but I think realistically what they would hope for at the very best is getting through this tie and picking up an attractive tie for the next round, which could earn them a few pennies. That's not damning with faint praise. I think it's being realistic, and I think both clubs realize that. Hooked away there by Baker. Well, if the game carries on like this, the team leading by 2-1 in aggregate, Kilmarnock will be quite happy with it. They're not being put under any great pressure. Now, Kilmarnock have always been renowned for having a very enthusiastic support, the kind which lifted them to their famous victory. Now, there's a bit of ball, the Frenchman. On he goes, Vareille. First real test there, and nobody. Rutherford at the back there, a little bit slow to take advantage of that. I think the pace of the Irishman and the Frenchman on the right-hand side actually made him go too fast, too far, nobody in support. Here's Findlay. Plays right in the heart of midfield, Billy Findlay. MacPherson putting that forward, that's a bit of ball down the outside. Good ball out there to Ali Mitchell. And good to see Mitchell coming back onto form. He was plagued by injury last season. 29 years of age. One of the loyal servants for the club. Been here at Kilmarnock for 6 seasons. Almost getting away with that. Good covering work by Rutherford again. He came back and defended well, and I think... Well, for a moment I thought there might be a free kick there. All very tight down that left-hand corner. Well, I think I was talking to the Kilmarnock manager, Bobby Williamson, and of course he agrees that sometimes it's easier to play away from home than at home. That's Bagan. And a little bit of a push. In fact, I thought there might even have been a sandwich there between the two Shelbourne defenders. Goalkeeper Alan Goff telling his players to get downfield. Well, the onus is on them, of course, and that could be a problem because I think in the first game they tended to play on the break. Mitchell trying to follow on after that. That ball played back there by Bagan. Well, the white boots there of Tony Sheridan trying to go through. Well, no free kick there. I thought there might have been a collision with David Campbell playing in the heart of that defense for Shelbourne. They get away with it, though. Well put through by Bagan. Now Vareille. A tempting ball and coming from the outside. Mark Rutherford. That was the better attack so far, and clearly the danger is coming from this right-hand side and the pace of the Frenchman at full back. And so Kilmarnock trying to slow things down here, keep possession, get the balance again. Picked up by Reilly, putting it out to Bagan. Another under-21 cap for Scotland. Well, he was under no real pressure there. Might be just a little bit nervous on this occasion. Held there by Bagan. And away by Findlay. And playing Killie at the back, McGowne. Scored the very first goal in the Scottish Cup campaign, McGowne. coming from defence. And at the back there's Ray Montgomery, the captain, the man, the longest serving player and the oldest player on the field. There he is, 35 years of age. And chasing in after that, Jim McIntyre. There he is. He played in the a Scottish Cup final before the one this season when he came on as a sub for Airdrie against Celtic, a game they in fact lost. So he's got a runners-up and a winner's medal. The Frenchman seeing a lot of the play, and Kilmarnock on the counter-attack. Going through there was Bagan. Nevin picking up here, looking dangerous. That's a useful ball inside at Bagan. Good run by the youngster. And that wasn't a bad ball from Nevin at all there. He saw the danger. And there's this youngster coming through now, Dave Bagan. He's only 20. Played in all the cup games for Kilmarnock. And he wasn't far away from that. Good counter-attack. And this youngster can obviously read the game very well. Nothing a manager likes better in the modern game than a young player who knows when to run forward. Hooked in there by, touched away. Sheridan trying to come back, pick that up. All a bit tight in midfield. And the Irish defence looking just a trifle flat at the back as Dave Smith puts it back to a goalkeeper who obviously doesn't like the ball played to foot. So there might be a vulnerability there. 17 minutes now gone, still nothing each. And that away goal that Shelbourne scored has constantly been nagging the Kilmarnock management. And I think they made it clear to the players that to win and go through, they will have to score themselves tonight. Free kick, good position for Kilmarnock this. And the man, David Campbell, right in the heart of the defence there, 27 years of age, organising his defence. And again, another player who's played in England. He played for Huddersfield Town. There you are. That's his back to his number 5 there. Organising the defence. Nevin is there. Now, Nevin's a dab hand at this sort of thing. He's always been a very intelligent player. Great dribbler with a ball laid to the side, and the final shot there by McGowne. Well, I did say that he scored the first goal in the campaign that brought them the very long road to this when they played in the Scottish Cup, and I think he's useful at coming up with hard shots like that. Put forward by Sheridan. Gus MacPherson on the right-hand side of defence. Another regular, hardly misses a game, MacPherson. There he is on the ball now. And the Montenegrin goalkeeper certainly knows how to play the ball with his feet. Emphatic clearance. So the Kilmarnock defensive performance in the Scottish Cup was the principal reason why they went through so successfully. And the goalkeeper was part of that. Bagan inside, and well, assistant referee had his flag up. Easily being knocked back there. That time it was Ray Montgomery who came forward. Well, they were appealing for a free kick there. The referee, Portuguese referee, just waving play on. That was a slack ball picked up by Findlay. Now forward by Campbell. Cluster of players there, and eventually it goes way behind. So, significantly, still no scoring in this match, which suits Kilmarnock. What you can see from that replay there, how wild the shot was. They don't look to have any poise in front of goal. And the Kilmarnock supporters on the far side, certainly more vocal than the home support. Coming from a different kind of footballing environment where support is absolutely essential, and the Kilmarnock supporters know how to back the team up. Well, I hope the cameraman stays up there, that vertiginous camera shot there. It's right up there with the pigeons. So, throw to be taken by Baker. Just in by McIntyre. Play very scrappy and untidy in midfield at the moment. Dab forward, that's a better run forward by McIntyre on the save, and a shot and goal! Beautifully struck. Wonderful left-footed shot. That's exactly what the manager wanted. 21 minutes gone. Kilmarnock have taken the lead. And how vital it is to score away from home, especially when you're on a very slender lead, having conceded one. He controlled it well and drilled it in. As I said, he is the proud holder of a Winners' and a Losers' Cup medal from the Scottish Cup finals he's played in. And the goalkeeper had no chance. That's a vicious one for a goalkeeper, coming right across him. Let's look at him. It dipped and swerved, and perhaps, well, maybe a higher class goalkeeper would have got a touch over the bar, but nevertheless, beautifully struck. Well, you'll hear the Kilmarnock voices now halfway through this first half, and it is going to be very difficult indeed for Shelbourne to pull this back now. Although the spirit of the Irish will drive them on, I don't think I've ever seen an Irish team simply give up, and we know that in recent years at national level. Of course, at club level they haven't been particularly renowned, to say the least, but they're always fighters in the best sense of the word. And the referee having to stop the play at the moment. Well, that's what any coach would try to plan in a game away from home. Just absorb a little bit of pressure, try to keep the ball off the opponents, get one man up front as they have been doing. Pat Nevin's been tucked in behind, and hope for a quick busted goal. And so far it's worked out splendidly for Kilmarnock. Well, that's Desi Baker, not looking too happy at the moment. He's only a 19-year-old. He went up there with the taller man, 6'2", of the Montenegrin, Dagro Lekovic. There he is. He was on Manchester United's books as a youngster. But of course, Manchester United go through so many young lads. There's always some wastage and some disappointment. That's inevitable as Pat Nevin tried to come from the right-hand side. So number 8, Desi Baker for Shelbourne came into that category. But a good young player. Well, it's remarkable the transformation of a team's fortunes when they're dipping in domestic football, as Kilmarnock certainly were. And then a new challenge comes along, and you need for a different kind of disciplined approach. And that's exactly what they've achieved tonight so far. There they are. They'll enjoy the Dublin hospitality, I'm quite sure, before the evening is out, if the scoreline remains something of the same. Number 4, Neville there, Mick Neville. Played for Derry City, of course. They played in the National League there and led this side to the national championship as well. Strong wind coming to the advantage of Kilmarnock there. It really has strengthened now. Well, the buoyant Kilmarnock supporters are really making the atmosphere now. That's not surprising. And coming back to defend Pat Nevin. Loads of experience at the age of 33, coming in, getting his defence sorted out. And I think the performance will be largely defensive now. Really, this team have got to score 3 goals now, and that's hovering there. Just a little bit overstruck that time. Mark Reilly coming back to give some support. Pat Scully came in to try and take that. Up it comes to Sheridan again. I think they really need a goal in this first half. That's neatly played. That's Vareille, Rutherford. And I think that's the right way to deal with an attack like that. Get it out of the danger zone. Playing the ball about beautifully now. Sheridan gets an opening. The Kilmarnock defence suddenly disappeared there. But he's put too much work in the ball. And back they come now. I don't think Bobby Williamson would be at all happy with the way they were dragged out of position there, because this man, Pascal Vareille, keeps busting forward. There he is again, a 29-year-old Frenchman, hails from Paris and came to Ireland for the first time to play for Derry City. Well, I think they really should have learned the lesson from having watched Kilmarnock, that's the kind of ball that Lekovic simply gobbles up. He's strong in the air again, a bit of freedom, and the ball blocked there by Ray Montgomery. 10 seasons with the club, still concentrating. Now here's Smith, played forward by Sheridan. The home crowd not at all happy, getting slightly restless. Youngster tried to beat that forward, Bagan. Matt has played almost 250 league games for the club. Neville there, just tucked in behind. Oh, he's got to get it to his right foot and pulls the man forward. Well, the goalkeeper for Kilmarnock, Lekovic, has played with the rights of Mijatovic, who we saw in the Spanish Super Cup final, scoring gloriously. He's been in that a Yugoslavian squad with him, and of course played for Red Star Belgrade. So he is adequately experienced for an occasion like this. If you're just joining us, Shelbourne against Kilmarnock in the Cup Winners. And this time, Ray Montgomery taking no chances. The Frenchman comes up again, and Kilmarnock absorbing a little pressure, but there's always seemingly an extra defender to come across. That's good organisation. The break by Baker. Bagan. Tried to push it back there, but not strongly enough. Mark Reilly right in the middle of the field. He did very well to pick that up. Ex-Motherwell player. Cutting out Reilly, putting it to Findlay. Findlay goes forward, looks for the 1-2 and gets it. Looking for Bagan. Youngster using his right foot to that. There's a touch of the head, and there might have been a little bit of pushing going on as well. And I think, quite frankly, it was by Jim McIntyre. Watch how he goes for this here. I think from that angle it looks as if the Nevin was falling back into him. Remember, after this game with Shelbourne in the red and Kilmarnock in the white, we'll be watching that. Our recorded highlights from where we were last night in the stadium in France of Paris Saint-Germain. Incredible game. Nevin, that could be touched as well. Bagan coming in from the outside. And this Irish defence, having given that relatively early goal away, are now looking rather fragile when the ball is played across goal. I think Killie might have another goal in them, in fact. By the way, when I say Killie, for all our other viewers around the UK and Europe, Killie is the affectionate name for Kilmarnock. And you hear that name being chanted away in the background there. While each of his clearances have been out of play or just stayed in their backspin. Ball played away forward by Findlay. But too often the Irish are now being caught in midfield. Well, it does show the loyalty of supporters, because Kilmarnock, to be frank, have had a very bad week in Scotland, but they've rallied behind them, as you can hear in the background. And it always helps a team abroad when you have that kind of support. Strongly headed back by Findlay, playing rather defensively at the back of midfield. There's the pace, forward again. Desi Bacon, lovely ball inside. Up came Rutherford, one of the better moves. And I do think that Montgomery was very angry. I think it must have been with the assistant referee in the far side. He thought there might have been offside. Looking across, there he is, looking across at the assistant linesman. Sadly, too much freedom given to Baker. There he is, coming, Mark Rutherford, who's looked very impressive, very speedy, as I said. He comes from Birmingham. He's been 3 seasons here now, 25. And he was the second highest goal scorer in the cup campaign that Shelbourne had. 12 minutes from half-time. Kilmarnock are not exactly easing their way through this game, but looking relatively comfortable. Oh, there's a bit of freedom here for McIntyre. Still has the ball in play. Decided just to hold it towards him till he got support there. Here's MacPherson. I said he had 5 years at Ibrox with Rangers before coming to Kilmarnock. Now Findlay. This is Wright, just I think intent in keeping possession. Well, that seemed like a fairly crunching tackle in midfield to me. Longer ball there by McGowne. Pat Nevin hasn't been in the play all that much, but doesn't really need to be. If he can turn on the style over a couple of minutes or so, and he's perfectly capable of that. There he goes. Just a little bit too much for him. Nevin, a wonderful, a kind of, when you watched him playing, a throwback to the old days when Scotland used to produce wonderful dribblers with the ball, small men, especially on the wing. Nevin, of course, went from Clyde to Chelsea, made his mark there. Just caught out of position. There's a neatness to the play of Desi Baker, I must admit, but I think Kilmarnock have appreciated the danger in advance and they're closing him down very quickly indeed. There he is, Desi Baker. He actually won when he was playing across at Old Trafford, the English Youth League and Cup, but eventually never fully settled there. Straight through to Goff, and I'll tell you, that looked as if he just got it. The pace of the ball, the skid of the ball almost deceiving him. Attacked there by Nevin, that was more like him. Nicely picked up by Mitchell, who'd done all the running. They want to cut it back, and well read there. Campbell coming back just to nick it away from him. Kilmarnock still in attack. This is MacPherson this time. Couldn't get enough loft in that all the same. Played out there by Reilly. MacPherson. I think another goal in this half would kill it. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Nevin, beautifully flicked to the outside. In he goes into the box. And too strong with that. Well, the ball, the wind kept the ball in play, in fact. Bagan got it back. And played rather too casually by Martin Baker. Now the break. Findlay. Gets it forward to Sheridan. Forward there by Smith. A little bit obvious that. And hooked away by Martin Baker. Good signing this, Baker, for Kilmarnock. As I said, they have limited funds. Well, which club outside of Rangers and Celtic in Scotland doesn't? No, beyond Rutherford. And they got that player I was talking about from St Mirren. He's only 23. He's had 10 caps at under 21 level, so I think he'll turn into a very reliable player. Well, Kilmarnock play in a league. It's not the Bundesliga and it's certainly not Serie A, but it has its own privations, and it's very difficult to stay in the Premier Division simply because it's, in my view, too small. The 10-0's given away. What a blunder! Lekovic gives the Irish a chance. Quite unbelievable, the ball played across there. And the player we've been talking about, Desi Baker, puts him back in a hunt. This is dreadful. What on earth was he thinking about? And dragged out of goal, he was punished. And Shelbourne are back in it with about 5 minutes to go to half-time. I don't think Baker could credit it, but then he steadied himself and stuck it away. A dreadful goal to lose at this stage. Kilmarnock on the attack again, though. So the Yugoslav international shows you that goalkeepers of quality can still make enormous blunders. Oh, I think the Kilmarnock players will be angered by that. Well, they seem to be knocked. Well, I'm not sure if they'll be knocked off the balance, but one thing is, the Irish are not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. They'll come back very strongly after that. Well, you had a glimpse of the players there, and they can hardly credit what's happened. They were playing comfortably, well within themselves, in fact. The defence, which has been torn asunder recently, looked as if it had tightened itself up, looked much more disciplined. And then suddenly, such a goal as would make the goalkeeper want the earth to open up and swallow him. Well, he's still there. Now he'll have to redeem himself, because I'm quite sure as these Shelbourne supporters have been given a new lease of life. The gentleman I'm talking about, Dragojev Lekovic, will now be put under pressure. There are simply some goalkeepers who hate the ball played to feet in a pass back, like the Irish goalkeeper here, Alan Goff. Now, the very first touch of the ball that Lekovic had with his feet was treated positively, and you could almost deduce from that he was going to be all right in that category. And then the sudden rush of blood to the head. There's the final tussle going on here between David Smith in the red shirt for Shelbourne and the youngster Dave Bagan. Like the look of Bagan. Ball just gone out though, goal kick. Well, what can a manager say to a player who's done that? He's got another 45 minutes to go, doesn't want to make things even worse than they are. Although I don't think the conversation will be all that placatory. Well, they've given too much open again. Baker going in, and who's coming from the far side? Rutherford just about a couple of feet too late. Now, somehow or other, given what has happened, that this man snapped the goal very quickly. He's elusive, he's quick, but somehow or other, they will have to close him down, get better marking than that. And now the game remains finely balanced. Flicked on by Bagan. Oh, I think we're seeing the evidence of a team that's ever so slightly shell-shocked. Ball's been given away too easily. Bagan, ball flicked out to Reilly. Reilly now. They're getting players back very well all the same. Bagan tries to nick it through the middle, looking for a little 1-2 there, and nobody. Bagan had cut inside. I think they'd expected him to pop up on the left wing, but he had gone inside to graft away there. Man running down there, Ali Mitchell, another experienced player, 29 he is. Solid player in midfield. So goal kick. Well, having presented them with that gift, this game could go anyway now. However, the consolation for Kilmarnock is they have scored an away goal. Free kick. Portuguese referee Wright on top of that. That's Rutherford. Goal scorer from the first game. Now Smith almost got it through. Just being caught on the ball too often, putting too much work on it in midfield. Bagan sticking to this left wing. Kilmarnock got out of that well all the same. I think they'll be glad to hear the whistle at this stage, just to go in and steady themselves. Have a chat with each other about maybe they should draw a very quick veil over what happened there. It's irretrievable anyway. Bagan. Good run forward there by McIntyre. That's an excellent ball. And Pat Nevin. I don't think he scored many goals in his career with his head, but he was in there like a flash. And that's experience for you, who kept up with the play. And in he came, one of the smallest men in the field, trying to nip in there and get the header in, and it almost came off. Rain lashing down at the moment as this turned down by Bagan. Conditions quite tricky there, and I think the surface will be greasy. Although absolutely no excuse for what happened to Lekovic. Really is a bit of a thunderstorm at the moment. That's neatly brought down there by Mitchell. Played wide, Bagan again. Back to that right foot, and Neville coming forward. That's all he could do. As the rain is so intense, people now trying to get under cover. Neat little stadium this, excellent pitch. And quite apart from the occasional cloudburst, the conditions couldn't be better. That gives you an idea of what they have to face up to. Trying a near post one, and real congestion of players there. They still can't clear it. That's pushed away. Well into stoppage time. Well, I think the dignitaries, who I said the Prime Minister of the country, the Lord Mayor, are getting a right soaking across there as the half-time whistle goes. So it's one each in a very wet Dublin. And here, my Irish friends telling me it never rains in Dublin. Well, there we are. And it's something of a thunderclap for Kilmarnock in that dreadful lapse by Lekovic, which gave them the equaliser. Score at half-time, one each. The rain still lashing down in Dublin. We're at half-time in the Cup Winners' Cup game between Shelbourne and Kilmarnock. The score one each at half-time. Kilmarnock having taken a lead in the first game by 2-1. An astonishing equaliser for the Irish after that early goal by Kilmarnock, and a lapse of attention by Lekovic, giving them a leeway there. So one each at half-time. We'll be back to see the second half live. Meanwhile, we're going to have a look at Sports Centre, introduced tonight by Simon Barlow. Shelbourne Stadium in Dublin, where Shelbourne and Kilmarnock are drawing one each at half-time. The rains have descended, almost like a monsoon. And as I said just before we went for our first break, almost a thunderclap that broke over Kilmarnock when they gifted an equaliser, snapped up by Daisy Baker, just before the end of the first half, after a wonderful strike by Jim McIntyre. One each on the night, 3-2 still an aggregate to Killie. We'll be back in a moment. These, the goals scored in the first half. Ball played inside there. And Irish fighting back after that glorious strike by McIntyre. Good confident start by Kilmarnock in the game, and in a few moments, of course, we'll be watching the second half live. And here, this terrible blunder by Lekovic. And in stepped Desi Becker to notch the equaliser. A stunned Kilmarnock side after this. It looks safe enough. It should have been cleared well downfield. Totally misjudging it. And very smartly driven in for all that. Well, the youngster who started off with Manchester United and didn't quite make it, showing how sharp he can be in front of goal. Kilmarnock still coming forward as the heavens began to open and the heavy rain started to come down. Pat Nevin coming in there, as I said at the time, the smallest man on the field virtually, and almost getting in there to score with his head. And I welcome back to a live coverage of the second half. The scores still 1 each, and of course Kilmarnock still leading on aggregate by 3 goals to 2. And I'm sure Shelbourne inspired by that goal. Well, if the Irish have any sense, and I'm sure they have, they must really put Lekovic under some pressure now. Now, the man might recover from that, but they really have to test him out and see if his nerve has been shattered by it. That was the rather tentative head back there that time. Good first 25 minutes for Kilmarnock, which inspired the very voluble support here. Played across there by Reilly. The ball went very hard in midfield. Picked up there by Findlay, who came forward. McIntyre drifts, and that's a beautiful ball. Bagan going for it. Pitch a bit heavy on that far side. He always turns the ball into his right-hand side. Little bit of hesitation in the Irish defence, but eventually cleared there by Bagan. Well, Kilmarnock have performed 1 or 2 miracles in Europe in the past. That marvellous victory they had over Eintracht Frankfurt. Then they held Real Madrid to 2-0 in the European Cup in the first leg. Rather taken apart in the second leg, but a very good performance in the first. So they have something of a heritage. Here's Pat Nevin. Nicely played across there and slides away from everybody. Well, both sides giving the ball away far too easily. McIntyre tried to nick that forward, seeing the space. Sheridan. That'll be a free kick. The man going down there, Tony Sheridan. So, this will be taken by Findlay as the captain goes forward. Mick Neville. An early go here now. There's the test. A greasy ball, and Lekovic gets up to it very well. Bagan. Good tackling that by Neville, saw the danger. Really is very quick. Again, he tries to go down the left-hand side. Simple but effective clearance there. Want to take that very quickly. And it really is the Irish side who have to make the running in this. They're still trailing on aggregate. And the important thing for Kilmarnock is they have scored that away goal, but they can't afford to give the ball away like that. Well, Gus MacPherson making a terrible error again in defence. Rutherford tries to go forward, and that's just touched away. Shot at goal, just wide. And the Irish putting Kilmarnock under pressure immediately. David Campbell picked that up very well. Not an easy ball to take coming across his body. Scored a very important goal in the semi-final. Here he comes. Took it on the half drop and away it went. And at the moment it's looking promising for Shelbourne. No free kick. Hooked away there by Scully. Chased there by Vareille. The French player who impressed a great deal in that first half. A lot of good runs up the right-hand side. Taken there by Lekovic, confidently. Lekovic has been 3 years with the club now, and nobody running forward for Kilmarnock. Just too far beyond Jim McIntyre. Straight out of play. Now, what I did like about Kilmarnock in the first half was when it really mattered, they did hold on to the ball intelligently. Played it around very neatly. But of course, as anybody will tell you in Europe, even the most experienced teams, you cannot afford a lapse of concentration. So many British clubs have suffered as a result through the years of that. That's an ambitious looking ball, no chance for Ali Mitchell to get onto that. Up in the air by Montgomery. Well, the higher balls won't bother him at all. McGowne very good in the air. As I said, one of the local boys in the team, although he's also played for St Johnstone and St Mirren. It's a tall player at the back, number 11. If you're just joining us, that's the scoreline at the moment. Kilmarnock won the first leg 2-1. Thus they are up on aggregate, and Shelbourne playing in the red. And that's out of play. Well, certainly Kilmarnock were not overconfident as a result of their rather poor form domestically recently. But there was a look of determination about them when I saw them. And I think they'll recover from what was just one of these lapses that happen occasionally. I've seen that happening to goalkeepers before. Simply giving the ball away. This is the man who scored a goal in the first leg, Rutherford. Back to Baker. Neater play there this time. Gee again. And to Rutherford, and well tackled there by McGowne coming forward. Gets it out of the danger zone, all right. Nevin. Well, the first touch letting Kilmarnock down. Well, they've had to defend in the first 3 minutes of this half rather grimly, but now they want to try and get possession in midfield. At least they're fighting hard. Way out far side is Vareille again, and that's a wasted ball forward. Neville putting that down. And I think they look a much more dangerous side, Shelbourne, when they play the ball wide and try and get Mark Rutherford on the left into action. There's Bobby Williamson standing there, the Kilmarnock manager. Former player, Clydebank, Rangers. And hooked away. Baker got into it that time, Martin Baker. Now this is a trying moment for the Scottish side. There's no doubt about it, they have the initiative. That was the goal scorer, Desi Baker, sliding in too late. Looked like a little bit of a jersey pull again, and appeals for hands. Pat Nevin raising his aloft. Now Bagan. Reilly just taking his time about it. Over to Findlay. As I said, he was playing mostly defensively. Gus MacPherson a little bit too strong, that. Now their covering has improved in this half as Pat Scully takes that away. Not a bad ball, and he's looking dangerous, is he not? The little man who started with Manchester United, and it might have been a tiny deflection. What's the referee given? Now he's given the goal kick. I think Baker is claiming there was a deflection here. He is the danger man. Well, difficult to tell from that angle. But he was given far too much latitude in the last 20 minutes of the game. They really have to put him in the hip pocket. But it has to be said, he's looking infinitely more dangerous than any of the Kilmarnock players going forward at this juncture in the game. Almost 10 minutes gone into the second half. Now, played inside the Campbell with a rather ambitious and optimistic shot at goal. That won't bother the Kilmarnock defence at all if they start to play like that. That's the man who drove that in. David Campbell came from St Patrick's Athletic to this club, and as I said, like many of the players, has dabbled in the English League. He was with Huddersfield Town. Just got that away from Rutherford. There's MacPherson. His better play, more constructive. Mitchell going deep, and they can't afford to give the ball away like that. It's picked up by Sheridan, and you could see that Baker ran onside there, leaving Rutherford to pick it up. And wisely, the corner kick conceded by Martin Baker. Still one each, still Kilmarnock lead and aggregate 3-2. And away across to the far side for the corner kick. Up comes Vodeka. Headed across. Rutherford tried to get in there. Too many Kilmarnock defenders though, but not getting it back into midfield. Here's Sheridan again. Kilmarnock living very dangerously. Goalkeeper should be committed to that, and is. Well, he owes one or two favours to his mates now, this player, after doing what he did. These things are inexplicable, of course. They just happen in a football match. Almost got that ball through to McIntyre. Well, tucked away there by Vodeka. Fenlon trying and long, and that was a difficult one because it did touch the ground before it reached Lekovic. And he did very well to get his body behind it. Look at the touch there. That's technically a very sound save indeed, and a very timely one by the goalkeeper. And there's a free header to goal. Nobody covering there at all. Bagan getting it up the line. And they're scrambling the ball anywhere. And oh dear, the marking in that Kilmarnock defence. Ball coming across, and watch the header, the free header at goal. They'll do well to hold out at this spell. Looked as if the ball had gone out, but referee waving play on. And Kilmarnock simply must get better possession in midfield. Oh dear, that's a poor pass forward. No chance of McIntyre fastening onto that. And the initiative clearly with the Irish at this stage of the game. Flags being driven straight out there by this quite fierce wind and rain. McIntyre. Bagan on the outside, and he was offside. They had only one chance to put the ball through to the left-hand side. I was talking about Kilmarnock's past and the very impressive victories they've had in European games. They, of course, go right back to the old Fairs Cup when they were first introduced to European football. Well, Baker, it may look a very wild shot, but the least you can say about that is that he was in there. Very sharp indeed. Kilmarnock not making any contact at the moment. Looking quite disorganized, and somehow they have to get to grips with themselves. Irish thinking of making a substitution. Oh, this Kilmarnock side is simply putting the ball, longer balls forward, more in hope than anything else. And that cohesion they showed in the first half seems to be slipped away from them. They're battling away all right, but there's no shape to them. So 15 minutes into the second half, and it's been something of a siege in that Kilmarnock goalmouth. Just touched away from Pat Nevin there, and Nevin, I'm quite sure, will want the ball held a little bit more by players in midfield and try to get back to that neat passing game that they showed in the first half. I think if that goal had not been conceded in the first half, you might have seen the very opposite of what we're seeing at the moment. This is Nevin at his best, and just a little bit slow. He is very elusive, or certainly was at his best in the game. There's a bit of space here. Bagan again comes forward. He's quite prepared to hold on to the ball, although the Irish have identified him as a real pest on that left-hand side, and that's too much. Easy ball for the goalkeeper, Goff. A little bit of slip there. McGowne coming right across. Baker, elusive as ever, turning out to be perhaps the most promising player in the field. Kilmarnock on the break. Driving forward, Alan Mitchell. Bagan. It's not all that easy out there for either set of players. Conditions being what they are. Ball just held up, and the goalkeeper being put under pressure. There's the shot at goal, and driven away by Goff. I think hand and knee got to it there. Real chance that for Kilmarnock. Nicely, beautifully held in fact there by McIntyre, and he's brought down. Nice control, first touch. And that's how they got rid of it. Now here was the chance coming up, and eventually just at the back of the goalkeeper, it was in fact David Smith who made that clearance. So, to the side it goes, and that is not the best free kick I've ever seen. Well, they won't be happy with taking it like that. Herbert, Kilmarnock is still in this competition. I think we're about to have a substitution. Here's the Irish making the substitution. So it's Geoghegan, Stephen Geoghegan, who's coming on this time as Pascal Vaudecin goes off. Geoghegan has been the National League's top scorer for the past 2 seasons, and he scored in the last two cup finals that Shelbourne played in. So a very prolific goal scorer has come on, and he was in the Republic of Ireland squad for the game against Macedonia. There he is, getting his first little touch of it. And they realise the importance of having a good striker and an attacker on at this stage of the game. They're still trailing. They may be playing the better of the two sides at the moment, but the statistics are harsh to accept. They're still out of this competition, and that will be taken by Lekovic. Well, judging from these tackles and the way the ball is being bashed around out there, you could describe this as a very hard physical battle. And of course, it will suit Kilmarnock to try to keep the ball. There's MacPherson. Oh, he slid, I think. Gus MacPherson clearing that downfield. The said about the man who just cleared that, he's hardly ever misses a game for Kilmarnock. Played over 300 games for the club. And that's number 5, Billy Findlay, by the way. Started off with Hibernian in Edinburgh before he came to Kilmarnock. So 20 minutes into this half, and it has been a dangerous one to say the least for Kilmarnock. Just seems to be a bit more bite and drive about Shelbourne in the midfield. You can see the way they went to win possession there. On by MacPherson. That's taken away to Nevin. Now, apart from anything else, Nevin has the experience to be talking to the players out there. He knows exactly what he's doing. Played for Chelsea, Everton, then on to Tranmere, and back up to Scotland. Well, the one thing about McIntyre after that goal, he's stuck to his task all right. The pitch is getting very heavy. There's Bagan, tries to get McIntyre back into the game again. Nevin won't get that ball. I know he came up for a header in the first half, but the ball has got to be played to Nevin's foot. Anybody who's watching in England will know that Nevin at his very best for Chelsea. You gave him the ball and then he started to weave between defenders. Now obviously he's not the same player he was at his height, but he's still got ability. Driving forward is Pat Scully. Well, the shooting, I suppose, thankfully Kilmarnock has been very wild indeed. That's Gagan who came on, the substitute. Almost an up and under. MacPherson did well to keep his eye on that. There's Nevin. Well, the goalkeeper dealt more capably with it than he did in the first half. MacPherson back there. And at least it was to the right-hand side of Lekovic. He doesn't like the ball played to the left. And a free kick, I think. Free kick to Kilmarnock. As Fendlin. Pat Fendlin also played for Chelsea, by the way. One of the others with the English connection. Look at the way the wind held the ball. Gagan away with it. Or just placed in a path there by McGowne. This is Gagan. Rutherford picks it up. In there by Gagan. The two Gagans in the field now, number 3, number 10. That's good control. He's had a very good game left on his own greatly and gives the ball away. Couldn't judge what the pitch was like there. It's good play by Nevin. McIntyre with it. He needed a little bit of support in there as well. Kilmarnock still on the attack, and that's a difficult ball for Gough to take. Got his body right behind that. Now, this man shouldn't be left on a 1-on-1. Certainly from a Kilmarnock point of view. Just about 20 minutes of the game remaining. Baker. Nothing very pretty about the way they're trying to clear the lines, and I do think they should try to be just a little more constructive. By the law of averages and the rate of possession, they're putting themselves into danger every time the ball is simply given away to the red shirts of Shelbourne. Oh, good run forward there, and a little bit of a jump, but it was a free kick. Don't think there was any doubt about that. Pat Fendlin going right in. Now this could be very dangerous indeed. Certainly fouled there, and he just gave that little extra leap at the end, but right on the edge of the precipice, you might say, Kilmarnock. Now they're shouting for Gagan there. Fendlin's there as well. And let's see how adept they are in this situation. Onus on Lekovic. Just over. He did well to get up, and I think he might have had that covered. Just a slight misjudgment. Fendlin indeed who took that. Only solitary attacking now by Kilmarnock. But they cannot allow themselves to be defending across their 18-yard line. Got to push forward a bit more. Nevin. Offside. That line looked very flat all the same, and Ali Mitchell almost came up and picked it up. Good ball played out there by Sheridan. And the ball given away. Taking that, Martin Baker. Said one positive situation in this game on the goal line, clearing that header. Campbell, he's got a fair dig. Forward by Gagan. Well, if they can play coolly like that, it does bring about touches of inspiration of just playing a little bit of football in conditions and in an atmosphere perhaps not conducive to subtlety, but little touches like that show they can still knock the ball around intelligently. Well, lacking support again, Baker, and really Ali Mitchell was standing rather too static that time, just inside him. Reilly beavered away the back of midfield for Kilmarnock, and Pat Nevin, having wandered away across to the far side from right to left, trying to introduce a little touch of the unexpected, just vary the play a little. Well, the Kilmarnock supporters are getting a right old drenching across on the far side, but they have been a great vocal encouragement to their team. Really a credit. Out shouting the local support. Rather desperate clearance there with Mitchell. He had possession. While they have been slightly apprehensive, there might be a rather munching of fingernails there on the far side. But they've kept up the vocal encouragement. Ball here played to David Smith. And back. Just touched away there from Sheridan. Sheridan's seen a lot of the play in this game. And that's well wide. Shot in there by the captain, McNeville. Not bothering the goalkeeper. "15 minutes remaining. Killie still leading on aggregate. Another goal by Shelbourne, and this game could go into extra time. Both managers, of course, have prepared meticulously for this. A game coming, a very crucial European game coming so early in the season for them. Shelbourne had played 3 English clubs in pre-season friendlies to warm them up for this. Now Neville. Oh, look at the Shelbourne player tucked in behind the Kilmarnock defence. He just got that away. Findlay trying to get that away downfield. And now the Irish crowd beginning to roar encouragement. Sensing the game reaching its climax. But the pattern has been the same right from the start, with the Shelbourne team pressing forward, almost parked in the Kilmarnock half, and the number 12 there, Jim McIntyre, plying a lone roll up front virtually, and doing it very well, holding on to the ball exceptionally well, lays it off neatly, but midfield hasn't been coming up quickly enough to give them support in the second half. It was so different in the first. MacPherson just happy to get it away there. Still in play though. There's a better run forward. Mitchell with it. Had to get that ball in early. This time he does. Can it be cut back? And too quickly, McIntyre. He did everything right until he chose to try to cut it back to Nevin there. Well, when you make that run like that and there's so many players around you, the final pass has got to be very precise. Although credit to Gagan for getting back very quickly, cutting that off. Nevin. Wants his ball to hold on to it. Well, Pat Nevin is obviously not as fit as he used to be. The sparkle has faded somewhat, but he is, on a night like this, the kind of player who could suddenly turn it on for 2 or 3 minutes. So there's always a potential there for danger for the Shelbourne defence. Very slippery now. Headed away by Baker. Oh, there's a free one now. Can Baker put it away? Great save this time. This time it was Desi Baker, the Irishman, getting away, and Lekovic did very well to narrow the angle. Well, having made that awful blunder and put his side under the cosh again, you could say he has slightly redeemed himself. There may have to be more of that to follow, though, with another 12 minutes remaining. Well, they'll have to compete, and they knew they would have to compete with the physical nature of this side. Now, this is good keeping. He had to play it away to the wider side of the goalkeeper, but he had it well covered. Now, that was a dangerous tackle to make on the edge of the box, but it came off. The rain now as bad as it's been, and it's something like a deluge on top of that Kilmarnock goalmouth, coming in the shape of the red shirts now. Constant bombardment, and the pressure is eased as you can hear that loud cheer of relief from the blue and white throng across to the far side, offside. Another substitution. Kind of last throw of the dice here is number 15, Tony McCarthy, comes on. Again, he's had experience in English football with Colchester and Millwall. So we've got a lot of players whose motto might have been "Have boots will travel." Good seasoned professionals playing at this level and playing in abysmal conditions with the onus still on the Irish to make the running and save this tie. Well, anything could happen. It's really awful out there. And I think there is a danger that the Irish team may overhit the ball. Well, they get the corner there. The referee's saying a deflection. They might tend to overhit it. Well, I came off with them there, okay. So 19-year-old Desi Baker, goal scorer, who just had that chance a couple of minutes ago with a corner. Oh, it's just beyond the head of Sheridan. Now they're all parked in the penalty area. Played out to Geoghegan. And that is just beyond Baker again. And he might have hurt himself going right into that concrete wall just at the back. He'll want to carry on. Well, unfortunately, our cameras are suffering from the rain as well. Nothing much we can do about that. A kind of look through a veil of rain at this. Rutherford, an enticing ball into the middle, and they just scramble it away again. Baker was in the middle of that, hooked away by Reilly, and it is now as incessant as the rain. Just pushed away by Ray Montgomery. And I wonder, at the age of 35, and in these conditions, a very heavy pitch out there, that these legs are now beginning to tire. There's the header at goal, and Lekovic coming forward there. Sheridan got right up. And again, Tony Sheridan played for Coventry City. In fact, made his league debut against Leeds United and made a great impression, Sheridan. That's number 9 in the Shelbourne side. Now that's the kind of player I was talking about from Nevin. Held on to it a little bit too much there, but he carved out that opening well. Now here's Findlay. Nevin. Simple little dab forward. And at least Kilmarnock keeping possession. Cute little ball again. Oh, an excellent tackle. Bagan came right across there. He had to make that. But at any rate, Kilmarnock have held possession. They've moved the game away from their goal mouth. And that's the most basic thing they could do at a time like this. Remember, after we see this game, whatever it reaches its conclusion, it could go into extra time, of course. We'll be seeing highlights of one of the most remarkable performances I've seen in Europe when we were in the Parc des Princes last night to watch Paris Saint-Germain. So, six minutes left. Well, they've tried everything they've done, the Irish, in this second half, and the referee has allowed the play to go on. It goes behind the goal. Now this player, Rutherford, has looked very useful on this left-hand side, and from a strictly Kilmarnock point of view, I think he must be delighted he didn't get the service he really ought to have received in the match. Well, they want him off. That close-up there gives you an idea of the drenching that this pitch has received. I don't think he'll be off for too long all the same. He really is in agony, and I don't think he would go off at this stage where he's not suffering intensely. And Hugh Allen, the physio for both Kilmarnock and the Scottish national side, down there attending him. Well, Ali Mitchell had gone right forward for that. A little bit of wrestling going on between the two players. Now neatly picked up there. Nevin. Almost got through, and that's this excellent player Rutherford in this left-hand side, showing his defensive qualities as well. Playing it longer this time, that could be a useful ball. And there was a bit of pushing going on there, yes. Free kick to Shelbourne. Just about 4 minutes remaining, and it's slipping away from the Irish. Mark Reilly trying to nick in the inside. Given away. That eases the pressure again. Back to Baker. On to Reilly. Well, they're appealing for a free kick. The referee waving play on. It's picked up again by this dangerous player Sheridan. On it goes to the right-hand side. Bagan. Sheridan. Looks for a little 1-2, and he did get it there. Appeals for offside. And I think the assistant referee right on the spot that time. Well, you could see from that replay that as the ball was played back, he was offside. Now, it's been very physical right from the start. They expected this. Another Kilmarnock casualty down there, this time Reilly. Oh, he is in agony. And I make it 3 minutes. It will be maybe 2-3 minutes of stoppage time. And at this moment in time, Kilmarnock is still in the Cup Winners' Cup. Shelbourne are not. And the voices of the Ayrshire crowd are now beginning to be heard again. As I said, it's been a marvellous support. On the other hand, I think they got very nervous in the last 10 minutes or so, and off limps Mark Reilly. Now, he wouldn't give in at this stage unless it was pretty serious. The one thing they would not want is to lose their shape. And that's why they have to hold on to the players while they can. The Irish making another substitution. It looks like Dean Fitzgerald who's coming on here. 21-year-old player. Hasn't made all that many appearances, only played 3 times last season. And that long straight ball into the Kilmarnock defence will just simply lend itself to straightforward defending as well. It's when the ball is played in the ground like this that they're turning out to be more dangerous. There's MacPherson. Hooked away there by Scully. Shouts coming from both benches here, exhorting the players on. It must have been very tiring. Remember, a very early season game. They played a lot of football already. And this heavy pitch has been sapping them. Touched away there by Mitchell. Now inside to Sheridan. Now he can't play the ball about intelligently. Rutherford. Knocked away by MacPherson, who I think under ordinary circumstances may have been taken off or volunteered to go off, but not in a situation like this. I think only amputation would stop that man from playing for his club now. This is his first taste of Europe. It's very special, and he is making a special contribution. He's clearly very handicapped out there. And now we're into stoppage time. So little time yet to save this game, but they can. There's stoppage time to take into consideration, and they've given everything for the manager, the Irish. As I said, that long high ball into the Killie defence has been the least of their problems in this match. Down to Goff. Well, both central defenders, McGowne, the whole back formation there has been quite outstanding. Baker, MacPherson, McGowne, Montgomery. And so nervous for the manager down there on the left-hand side. Bobby Williamson, there's the Irish support. So little left of the game now. And that youngster, Dave Bagan, we'll hear a lot more about him in the future. He's only 20, under 21 cap. And he has been waspish in the way he's gone at this defence tonight. Substitution. Now played out to Rutherford. Just shuffling the ball away, almost giving it back to him though. Excellent play by Rutherford. He's had a lot of football in him. And perhaps one of the surprises of the game, he hasn't had as much service. Off the referee that time. Bang goes his free pint of Guinness. We're now, for the Kilmarnock supporters, agonisingly well into stoppage time, and there's no predicting when the final whistle will go when you take that into account. Now he has to make ground here. Oh, that's good running off the ball on the outside by Findlay. Really is a strong player, but the ball just pushed away from him by Montgomery. And they're trying to lift the Kilmarnock team. They have looked tired the last 10 minutes or so. Means an enormous amount financially to both clubs. And they just put that away almost anywhere. All eyes on the Portuguese referee. Just tucked inside. No free kick. And then the ball taken away. Mitchell putting it away down there. Brilliantly hooked back there. Campbell had to retrace his steps. Wonderful clearance that under real pressure. And now we're 3.5 minutes, as you can see, into stoppage time. Rain lashing down, windswept ground. And above it all, the roars of the Kilmarnock crowd trying to lift them for the last few seconds of this game. And there it goes. Kilmarnock go through and aggregate. And Bobby Williamson remains commendably impassive. Although I'm sure underneath that facade, he's bubbling. They've done it. Not the prettiest game I've ever seen in Europe. A hard slog. There's one of the great players, I'm sure, for the future of the Republic at national level, Daisy Baker, the man who snapped that goal. So, a draw tonight, and how valuable that first goal, that first marvellous strike by Jim McIntyre. That's what really led the way. Well, I spoke to Bobby Williamson, and he had prepared himself thoroughly for this game. And Robert Burns, whose poetry was established in Kilmarnock, once said the best laid schemes of mice and men gang after Glyve. But not tonight they did. Perfect for Kilmarnock. From Archie MacPherson, goodbye.